Now back to Dallas, and joining me is State's Attorney General Ken Paxton. Sir, I appreciate your being with me. As I can understand, there are so many family members and members of the community that you're meeting with, especially in the past 48 hours. I know right after the shooting, you went out and you said the people of Texas need to come together by encouraging law enforcement, giving them that reassurance. Talk a little bit how you can be effective in doing that, given the divide that we have seen and that is so prevalent when it comes to certain communities' intentions and police.
You know what? It's been amazing to me. It was obviously a very shocking event. It was very sad. I was just over at police headquarters, and I was at the memorial, and there's certainly a lot of sadness, but I really believe that in the end, Dallas and North Texas and all of Texas is going to come together, one, to support our police officers and encourage them, and two, to remember the families, encourage the families, and not forget what these brave men of the Dallas Police Department, the Dallas Transit Authority did for this city.
Well, you've cited that this horrific tragedy is also a possible learning moment for the community as well, especially given the ironies when you have people who are protesting, criticizing the law enforcement, the agencies, police, but yet again, shots ring out and they run to them to protect themselves. Talk a little bit about how you see that and how that can be effective in making a difference in easing these tensions.
You know what? I think that's the greatest story of this whole incident. Obviously, this is a very sad time for us, and it obviously a very bad impact on families in our community. But what the Dallas police did in going out to protect people that actually disagreed with them, and then when the actual terror event occurred, they were there to run towards protecting these people. I think that is a really amazing story, and I believe that in the end, that the purpose of this will be that it will help unite people and make them realize that there can be a way for the law enforcement and communities to work together in a positive way.
Sir, do you believe that this gunman acted alone? Is there anybody else you're looking at?
Say that again?
Is it your belief that this gunman acted alone, or is there anybody else that your agency is looking into?
You know, that's a good question, and I'm not sure. I know that they're looking into that. There's certainly questions about whether there were co-conspirators. They're interviewing people. So that'll be a question that'll be answered over the hopefully next couple of days and at least weeks.
I have to ask you also, when it comes to the weapon used, this semi-automatic assault rifle to shoot at the police officers, where do you stand as far as curbing access to those kinds of weapons of war in the wake of the shooting and make it safer for officers, everybody there on the streets? What's your stand?
You know what? I'm definitely First Amendment. I mean, Second Amendment. I don't think that this guy would have been deterred by any kind of gun regulations. The reality is he was willing to violate statutes that stop people from killing each other, and he violated that. So a particular gun law wasn't going to impact how this guy acted.
But when you have arguments from people possibly in your own state, and then you also have in the wake of Orlando, San Bernardino, all the other ones that said that when it comes to these assault rifles, again, maybe there wouldn't have been 5 officers who were killed.
Well, you know what? I wish that there was some magic bullet here, but the reality is in Texas, we've always believed in the Second Amendment. We believe that law-abiding citizens have the right to protect themselves. And in this case, people that are willing to murder people are not going to follow other laws any more than they're going to follow a law that prevents them from killing people. So we've always believed in law-abiding citizens being able to protect themselves, and I stand with those people.
And especially in the state of Texas with the open carry laws, sir, where do you stand with that?
Say that again?
Open carry, if you can speak to open carry laws and the argument of the open carry laws in Texas.
You know, that was recently passed here, and again, it's designed to protect law-abiding citizens, and so open carry is something that we have passed in the last year or two, and I think it's working just fine. And again, for those who are not going to follow statutes related to killing people, they're not going to follow any law related to guns. So it's designed to protect law-abiding citizens.
But as far as access, some will argue, sir, some will argue it's the access, and just to make it more difficult, another barrier out there.
Well, there's nothing wrong with having criminal background checks and checking and make sure that the wrong people don't end up with these guns. But on the other hand, we do want law-abiding citizens to be able to protect themselves, because they're the ones that are most at risk if they don't have the ability to protect themselves when there is no law enforcement around.
All right, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it very much.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Up next, the Dallas shooting's impact on Capitol Hill.